For our short time here together, there are 4 important foundations. Say them with me: home, government, school, and church. Say them again: home, government, school, and church. Each of these foundations have seriously been damaged for over 100 years. Some of the foundations are close to being completely destroyed. Foundation number 1 is the home. Before God ever created the church or instituted government, he started the family, the home. Someone said, as the home goes, so goes the nation. How are we doing in our homes in 2008? We must understand, y'all. They said that now we're not living in the leave it to beaver days no more. We're not living life like the Cosbys. A better description of our time is Desperate Housewives. Divorce is at an all-time high. Many homes are not a place of refuge but a battlefield. Psalm 127 clearly states, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Notice these words from the Paul Harvey show. He said, for the life of me, I can't understand what could have gone wrong in Littleton, Colorado. If only the parents had kept their children away from guns, we wouldn't have had such a tragedy. Yeah, he said, it must have been the guns. It couldn't have been. It couldn't have been because half of our children are being raised in broken homes. It couldn't have been because our children get to spend an average of 30 seconds in meaningful conversation with parents each day. After all, we supposed to give our children some quality time. It couldn't have been because we treat our children as pets. Lord, help me here. It couldn't have been because we place our children in daycare centers and they learn that with their socialization skills among their peers under the law of the jungle, while employees who have no vested interest in them look up on them to make sure no blood is spilled. It couldn't have been that we allow our children to watch on an average 7 hours of television a day that's filled with the glorification of sex and violence that isn't for children but for adult consumption. It couldn't have been because we allow our children to enter virtual worlds. To win the game, one must kill the opponents if possible in the most sadistic way possible. It couldn't have been that we now treat our children like our friends. Hey, y'all, your child ain't your friend. Train up a child in the way he should go. When he's old, he shall not depart from it. We letting our girls wear makeup before they are 15, 16. They wear makeup at 11 and they got on tight clothes. And we wonder why there's such an increased sexuality. Y'all don't want to talk here. It couldn't have been because our nation is the world leader in developing a culture of death. In a 20 million to a 30 million babies are being aborted on an annual basis. It couldn't have been because our school systems teach children that they are nothing but glorified apes that were evolution out of a scoop of mud, or teaching evolution as a fact. They'll hand out condoms rather than candy. Couldn't have been that we teach our children that there are no laws of morality that transcend us, that everything is relative and actions don't have consequences. No, we say it must have been the guns. Foundation number 2 is the government. Can you imagine working for the following company? It has 500 employees. The following statistics: 29 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have bankrupt or bad businesses. 3 have been arrested for assault. 71 cannot get a credit card due to bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 are current defendants in lawsuits. In 2007 alone, 84 were stopped for drunk driving. Can you guess what organization it is? The United States Congress. Group that cranks our laws for us to live by are not doing a good job themselves. The third foundation, the educational system. What happened to the 3 R's? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. I tell you, they've been replaced by the 3 C's: crime, chaos, and confusion. Gideons cannot hand out Bibles anymore, but Planned Parenthood can hand out condoms. Our children are not taught to be tolerant of everybody and everything. They're taught to accept everybody and everything. Humanism has replaced history. Situational ethics has replaced science. Socialism has replaced social studies. This is the new school prayer. Now I sit down in school when praying is against the rule, or the great nation under God finds mention of him very odd. If scripture now class recites, it violates my Bill of Rights, and any time my head I bow becomes a federal matter now. Our hair can be purple, orange, or green. There is no offense. It's a freedom scene. The law is specific. The law is precise. Prayers spoken aloud are a serious vice. Praying in a public hall might offend someone with no faith at all. In silence, we must meditate. God's name is prohibited by almost every state. We're allowed to cuss and dress like freaks and pierce our noses, tongues, and cheeks. They out loud guns. But first, the Bible, to quote the good book, makes one liable. You can elect a pregnant senior queen and an unwed daddy a senior king. It's inappropriate to teach right from wrong. We're taught that judgment do not belong. We can get our condoms and birth control, study witchcraft, vampires, and totem poles, but the 10 Commandments are not allowed. It's scary here, I must confess, where chaos reigns and schools are a mess. So Lord, this silent plea I make, should I be shot, my soul please take. Foundation number 4. The church, the ecclesia, the called out ones. Many churches are nothing more now than social clubs. Playing has replaced praying. Social gatherings have replaced soul winning. What we call praise and worship is simply playing follow the leader, because the average worship leader can't get us into presence. They ain't gonna like me now. Whatever Oprah recommends replaces the Bible. Whatever book she say read, that's what we read. Singing and socials and suppers and sports have replaced the spirit. The holy days have become just regular holidays. Hurry up, Bishop, get through. Got to go to Easter dinner. I want to hear no more about the resurrection. Preachers have traded the good book for their checkbook. The day of contract preachers. Send me a deposit before I come preach. Make sure you check off the checklist. In the average church, Sunday morning will be preacherettes delivering sermonettes to Christianettes who drive Corvettes and dress like majorettes. Gotta quit.